In this video, we will learn how to improve your largest contextual paint score on your WordPress or non-WordPress website. So as we have done the intro video of how important Core Web Vital is for as a ranking factor, as a SEO aspect of your website, and why it is actually important, we have already discovered that. We have already discovered the three main part of Core Web Vitals also. In this video, we are going to the overview of largest contextual paint and how you can actually improve your score. If you have a bad largest contextual paint, which you can see in the screen here, which is also a bad in my performance part, which is also the part of the Core Web Vital, and you can easily improve your score using these methods which I'm going to explain in the upcoming minutes. So non-WordPress part, maybe you have a website based on a JavaScript or a PHP or a Python, then you can just apply these methods which we are going to explain in the coming minutes. And for the WordPress, then you can have one method which you can apply on your WordPress website, which we are going to explain in the description box. So go to the description box, you have a plugin called WP Super Cache, and download it, sign up for the account, free account, and download it, and you will be able to configure that on your website. So we are going to discuss the both and going to learn in detail. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please click that red button so that you won't miss any of our future videos regarding the technical SEO aspects. So let's get started. We have already discussed what is LCP, largest contextual paint. Like, what is it? It's actually the Core Web Vitals metric and measures how long it takes for a largest element to become visible in the viewport. So whenever you load a website, the browser starts painting. Like here, let me just refresh my website. As you can see, it will start painting my website whenever I load down. See, as you can see, different images are just loading it right now. It's because the browser actually painting my website. So that's all about the loading speed of your website. So largest contextual paint, in short, is all about that. So it has various aspects, or I will say various elements that helps to contribute to this particular score. So the good score is up to 2.5 second, and if you have above 2.5 second, then you can improve your score. Going to which tools you can use to measure these performance, I will be using first is obviously the web.dev. You can find the link in the description box, and just go to the Google, you will find this particular link, and which we have already done in the previous video. And second will be the web page test, to give a detailed look on our website's score. Like here, as you can see, I've already done it. You can also perform the same. Here you will get extra metrics like based on the Core Web Vital optimization and domains, console log, and processing, and all things you can just find out here. Here we will be having this detail section where we have this observed metrics of first byte start rendering, which we are going to do using the upcoming minutes. So you can find both in the description box. There are actually the more tools out there like GT metrics or Lighthouse or something like that, then you can just go with it. The main thing is you want to improve your LCP score, so there are 7 or 8 methods which we can apply. Okay, so first part will be obviously enable page caching on your website. So there's actually a different part from where you can actually enable cache on your website. The first is from the server side, and the second is from your script side, or I would say a front end part. And what is page caching? By enabling page caching, your website will be stored as an HTML files on the servers after the page is loaded for the first time. So as a result, the content will be displayed faster, and it's an easy and effective way to improve your server response time and reduce your LCP. And to enable page caching, you have two options. And for the non-WordPress website, you can't do much about it, but if you are using a AA panel, then you can enable memcached and as well as website speed plugin on your server side. So how to do that? You need to go to the App Store here while after logging to your AA panel, and you can also install it from your cPanel if you are already using it. And go to the AA panel. There is a website speed 3.0. It supports the acceleration of your website, and for this to enable, you have a memcached plugin or for your server panel. So here is the memcached. If you don't know how to install it, then just Google it, how to install memcached on your server. Then you can just found 2-3 commands there to just log into your root and install it. First you need to do the memcached plugin, okay, and the second is you need to install this website speed 3.0, and go to the setting, go through this wizard, which will help you to set up your exclusive rules to speed up your website. So it does help for the non-WordPress websites, so you should opt for this particular plugin because it actually works flawlessly if you have a panel installed on your server. And if you don't, you have such functionality on the cPanel also. Just contact your hosting provider and tell them to install a website speed plugin or light speed plugin on your website, so it helps you to create a caching from the server side. And for the WordPress part, you need to have this particular plugin because it actually works flawlessly for your WordPress website. There's actually many available out there, but WP Rocket is the best cache plugin for the WordPress, so you should give it a go. And then how to use it? Uses is very simple and straightforward. Go to the cache, and here enable caching from mobile devices, enable caching for logged in WordPress users if you want it to be cached for the logged in user. If you have a multiple admin users on your WordPress website, then you should do it enable caching for login users. And there is an option for a separate cache for mobile devices. If you have a different theme for your mobile devices, or maybe using a AMP, then you should select this. If you have a responsive website, then enable caching for mobile devices will be a good to go. And here is cache lifespan, and cache lifespan is files older than specified lifespan period will be deleted. And if you wanted to delete caches or some after some lifespan, then you can just use this time limit. Here you can set it by hours or days, just like that. So that's about it. And to clear your cache, you can just go to the dashboard here, or you have this particular drop down menu from your WP's menu bar here. You can just clear the cache if you want to clear it, because if you have selected in days part or in unlimited lifespan, then you should consider deleting cache files whenever you log in to your WordPress website. Or you can also clear cache when you have edited your theme or any files, or a CSS file or static files like a CSS, GSS, etc. So that's about it. That's how you can easily configure cache on your WordPress. So now moving forward to the second, which is choosing a fast hosting server. So I think this is very debatable because you have your own preference for your server, and I suggest you to use Amazon if you can break your bank. And if budget is not your thing, then you should go for Amazon AWS, which is server is about EC2 or EC2, EC3 and so on. You can just go there and install a panel to it, buy it, because those are the cloud network where you have to pay as you go. So the more the resources you use, and the more you get your build. So in Indian term, or I will say in dollars, if you have a website with 1k users daily, then you will be getting a bill of around $300 to $400 of EC2 server there. So it also depends on which functionality you use on those servers. So if you want me to build a tutorial on those part, then request in the comment box. And if you don't have a budget, and if you are running a WordPress website, then you should go for the WP engine. If you go to WP engine, it's actually made for the WordPress. So if you go to the pricing section, they are actually the best guy for your WordPress. So it has an option for your managed WordPress blog and e-commerce for the Woo, and there's also advanced solutions you can buy from there. So $20 per month, I don't think that's very costly. So you should go for this. The configuration is about one site obviously, and 25,000 visits per month. If you have more visits, you have to upgrade your hosting, and 10 GB storage and 50 GB bandwidth per month, which is I think is very low. So you should consider buying a dedicated server, because if you can buy a dedicated server for $60 or $70, there are actually many available out there. So I suggest you to use OVH. So OVH is, I think, global cloud provider, and they also have bare metal servers like a dedicated server for you, and they also have a cloud services for you. But I suggest you to buy any server with the SSDs and VMEs, such that your processing will be fast as lightning. And here's a dedication. If you explore it, there is starting is around 104, and if you want to go way cheaper from this, then you should try this out. Hetzner.day, Hetzner Online. So they have the cheapest servers available there, starting from the 30s to 40, and they also have a server auction, so where you can buy a large sourced server as low as €35. So if you go to the servers auction, so here as you can see, the prices is 37 for 64 GB RAM, and for 512, which is SSD, there will be the 2, so is equal to 1 GB. So Intel i7. So this is the budget friendly dedicated resource server for you. So I suggest you to go for this Hetzner.day if you have a tight pocket, then you can just go and opt for this price. So this is the fixed price. This is the server. It is from the auction from where they are selling all the old server with the old processors, but it also works flawlessly with the help of this server plus cache plugin like WP Rocket or the stuff which I told you earlier. So you should choose a fast hosting services. So that is the second part, and the next part will be use the CDN, which I have already described in the previous video of overview of Core Web Vitals. CDN helps reduce the length of the time between the user's request and the server's response. So CDN, as I've already explained, this amount of time is actually the latency. It's what is called the time between the user's request and the server's response is called the latency. And to reduce that, you can use the CDN, which is the Cloud Delivery Network Services. And why you actually CDN, which is Content Delivery Network Services, and why you actually need it. As I've said in the previous video, what is CDN? CDN is all about getting your static files hosted on different parts of the world, and from where it can easily cache those static files and deliver to the nearest data centers. If you're sitting in the Africa, if you are sitting in the US and your server is in, like, say in India, so it will take a longer to load your website. But with the help of CDN, the static files just like CSS, images, JavaScript, it hosted everywhere to the network and it gets delivered to your nearest origin. Suppose you have a CDN installed and your actual service is on India and you're staying in US. So if CDN installed, there must be a CDN data center in US. So there must be a files that are actually hosted on there. So your request will be delivered from the US itself. So consider that your loading time will be way less. So use a CDN, and for the non-WordPress user, I suggest you to use bunny.net, which is the leading CDN provider. So how you can actually do it, you can actually, for the non-WordPress user, you need to have a pull zone and as well as storage there. Just upload your files, like here is the file manager of storage of Bunny, and here I've already uploaded my static files of CSS as well as JS, and you can just upload here and add a CNAME like cdn.yourwebsite.com. and if I open my website here, just it's the home page there, and if I click on the view page source, so here you will see here is the static files which I've already hosted on my CDN, and there are some which I'm going to do it. So here is the CDN, which is normalized CSS, select to main.css. So these are the CSS that has been hosted on CDN. So it helps you to reduce your service response time as well. So that is for the non-WordPress user. So if you want me to create a video on how to configure CDN services for your non-WordPress website, then you can request a video in the description. But I will be doing that after a playlist has been completed of this. So that's how you can actually use CDN for non-WordPress user. And for the WordPress, you have a one plugin like I've already said. And for the WordPress CDN services, I suggest you to use Rocket CDN, which is also from WP Rocket. So it just works flawlessly and helps to reduce a lot of time in the server's response. And if I just go to the blog section, which is hosted on WordPress, go to the view page source, and there you can see we are using the Rocket CDN.me, and that's actually the best out there for this particular plugin. So you should follow the link in the description box where you can find Rocket CDN, which is very cost efficient, because it only costs around $7 per month, and for the year part you can easily get for $99. So I don't think there's actually the best way to add CDN services to your WordPress website. You can also add another CDN services like from the Bunny to it. If you are already using Bunny and want to configure that into this particular WordPress blog with this plugin, you can add the CNAME here, and just like we have out for the non-WordPress website, and it also works flawlessly like that. So that's all about using CDN. And next is deferred JavaScript. What is deferred JavaScript and how it actually impact your LCP? See, render blocking resources like JavaScript files are one of the main cause of a bad LCP score, and deferring the JavaScript files will help you tackle the issue easily, because as you can see, whenever a browser downloads something from a request you have put in, like request put in wp.webby.com blog, first it starts parsing the HTML document. So if you defer that particular JavaScript, add a defer code to it, or tag your JavaScript file as a defer, it will delay that loading of your script to the last after passing the HTML, which actually helps to load the scroll of Largest LCP. So how to add a defer tag to it? Like, it's actually very easy. Just go to the JavaScript file or the index.html file you are using for your non-WordPress website, and here let me go to my theme section, and here mostly JavaScript files are included in the footer just before closing body tag. And here, as you can see, I've been using CDN for the lazy sizes, and here it is added async. Async is also helps to lower your LCP score just like defer, but I will make another video the difference between the async versus defer. You can also use async. You can also add a defer tag to it. Just after the script tag, add a defer, which is the attribute to the particular code, and it will direct the browser to download or parse HTML first, then afterwards parse this particular script. So that will help you to lower your LCP score. And the next is remove unused JavaScript, which I'm going to cover in this playlist. So it will help you to lower your LCP score. Let me go to the measures here. Yeah. So here it says remove unused JavaScript, and whenever you run your audit, it will give you this particular opportunities to actually fix your website, and which I will be doing step by step in the upcoming days. So reduce unused JavaScript, just browse through the playlist in this playlist, and you should go to watch that video, how to reduce unused JavaScript. So here you will get the idea which JavaScript has been unused here. How you can actually fix this, you can find the video in the description box or in the right side of your YouTube playlist panel, from where you can find the link how to reduce your unused JavaScript. So that way you will be able to understand it better. And going to the further, which is defer non-critical inline critical CSS and remove unused CSS. So this is also I have done in the separate video, which you can also find in the description box, also in the playlist of this. So just go there and find how to defer non-critical CSS or put the CSS in inline, and also remove unused CSS. So go there and find this particular video. And next tip will be minify CSS and JS files. So this is also one of the factor which you can use to minify your JSS file, from where you can delete all those spaces, all those tabs, all those comments from your JS and CSS files, and make it lower in size as compared to the original one. And for that part, I've already done this video, which you can also find in the description box, so where you will find everything about it. And next will be optimizing your images, and for that part you need to convert your images for the web. And for the web, we have a format called WebP, for which you can easily convert your files to the WebP, and there you will get all the lossless images and reduction of size up to 80%. I have already done that. Go to the description box and find that video, and you will be able to optimize your images to lower your LCP score. And the next part is compress text files. And compress by text, I mean the HTML part of your website. And to compress that, you have various ways to do that. And let me tell you how you can actually do it. You can apply a web server side compression, and there's two ways to do it. First is to apply the gzip compression on your website, and second is to apply a Brotli. And I prefer you to apply the Brotli compression, because if you go to the link in the description box, which is from this particular blog, it says Brotli plus versus gzip compression, and here it says how they actually improve their latency by 37%. So here is the Brotli. Brotli is also just like the gzip, which is a compression method to compress your HTML and other files. So just like gzip, Brotli is also a compression algorithm. It is developed by Google and serves the best for text compression. So you should start using Brotli to it. And if you don't have Brotli compression to your website added to your website, then you should ask for a developer to add to your website. And how to add a Brotli to your server? If you're using Apache server, or if you're using Nginx server, then you can easily add it. And for the Nginx part, it's already added as a default, and for the Apache you need to add that. And for that part, I will put in the description box where you can actually find a tutorial to add it to your website. And if you want to know if you are actually using a Brotli or a gzip compression, and you can easily do that by just going to the website just like that. Right click on it, click on the inspect element, And after clicking on inspect element, go to the network. Here just reload your website to start recording it, and here you can see different files which has been downloaded. Let me go to the app.min.js, and here you will find the header, right? And there are actually different response headers, and for the response header you need to go for the content encoding, and as you can see it is using a Brotli. So Brotli has been already installed on my server, and if you want to find if it is on your server, just follow this particular way to find if which compression is actually using your server. And to enable that, you can find a link in the description box where I've already told you how to add Brotli to your server. So that's how you can easily compress your text file. And next is use preload for critical assets. Why you actually need it? The impact of this actually very low, but it does help. You know how much assets are there, like static CSS and JavaScript responsible for a website to paint or look good, right? And here, as we know, the HTML is the basic structure, and CSS is all about the styling, and JS is all about the behavior. And to use those critical assets first, it will improve your loading time. For example, if I want to load my CSS and JavaScript first, which actually help me to paint the website faster or effectively, then you can use this preload method. And how to use that? What you need to do is go to the header file, go to the header section. So here, as you know, all my critical sites are coming from the CDN services, right? And here, as you can see, link is this for the CSS, and these are the link for the CSS. And for to enable that, actually load that faster, such that my site will be available to paint much faster than it normally do, you can just add a rel tag to it, Preconnect, add to it, add a preload, just like that. Just add this such that it will tell or direct the browser to download that particular file first. Then you can easily reduce your LCP, which helps your website to paint faster and load faster. And for the WordPress users, you can easily do that with the help of this particular plugin. And what you need to do is go to the preload part, and here you can active preloading links and preloading fonts, and everything you can do it in this particular plugin. So that's about it. That's how you can easily add preload for critical assets. So last will be, I don't recommend to do this, but if you are comfortable editing your HTML code, I will tell you to add Preconnect tag to your third-party services. For example, you have a Google Analytics installed on your website, or maybe having a sharing plugin or something like that. And if you want to optimize it, you can add a Preconnect tag to your code or to your third-party domains. And how to do that? Just as you can see here, I'm using Preconnect to my Google fonts and for the gstatic. What is gstatic? As you already know, it is a domain, or I will a CDN domain for all the Google services which I've been using for my fonts. So as you can see, the Preconnect has been connected to google.aps. What it actually does is, if enabled, the Preconnect option tells the browser to establish a connection with the external domain as fast as possible. The browser will handle the request in parallel with the ongoing rendering process. Like, if browser will start parsing the HTML as well as this preconnection, such that it will help your site to load faster if these are the critical part of your paint or website design. So you should start adding Preconnect tag to your WordPress or non-WordPress website. For the WordPress pass, go to this particular plugin and go to the preload, and after the preload you have this preload links. It helps you to Preconnect third-party services faster. That's about it. And for most of the part, WordPress, you only need to have one plugin, which is WP Rocket. You can just sign up for the free account there. And for the rest of the non-WordPress users, I've already explained different method to load your website faster and score less on and improve your LCP, which is Largest Contentful Paint. So that's about it. But in this playlist, we are going to cover each and every element that causes such issues, like unused JavaScript, defer JavaScript. We are going to discuss detail in this playlist. So keep browsing this video and keep browsing this course. You are going to learn so much. So see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.